to me is to have all these things that you can do if you want to, that you don't have to do if you don't want to do. And there's a way in which American and white and human become synonyms. That why can't we just treat each other as human beings? To me, when I hear it from a white person, it means why can't we all just pretend to be white people? I'll pretend you're a white person, and then you can pretend to be white. Why don't you eat what I eat? Why don't you drink what I drink? Why don't you think like I think? Why don't you feel like I feel? God damn it, I'm so sick and goddamn tired of hearing about that. I'm sick of that. That's what it means to be human being to me. That's what it means to be white. That's what it means to be American. What? You think that, hey, it'll all be fine when we just treat each other like human beings. And what that says to me is, don't be yourself. Be like me. Keep me comfortable. Connect where I'm ready to connect. Come out to my place. Or maybe I'll come down and get some artifacts from your place. That is bullshit. When you say that your ethnicity is American, there is no American ethnicity. You had to throw away your ethnicity to become American. That's what it means. That's what it means. You give up who you are to become American. And you can pretend that it's okay because you're white. When we give up who we are to become American, we know that we're dying from it. You're dying from it too, but you don't know it necessarily. Get ethnic, you know? You know, I'm not going to trust you until you're as willing to be changed and affected by my experience and transformed by my experience as I am every day by yours.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. I really appreciate your massive love and support. You know, sometimes it's always good to express your feelings, because if you don't do it, you will be hurt from deep inside. And after expressing it, you will always be feeling so good. When I saw this brother coming out to express his feelings without caring whatever people will say, without caring how the society will judge him, I felt it so deep. And right now, some of the palm-colored people are coming out and admitting the fact that it's always been jealousy that has made them to be so racist towards the people of color. That they are not white, that God took time to create the black people, and that's why black people are God's chosen. Black people are God's favorite. Not my words, but from their words. I'm about to play for you the clip. So guys, let's dive in straight to the video. Kindly give the video a thumbs up and also subscribe if you haven't. I'm your presenter, Judy.
Stop lying to yourself. We're not white. We lack melanin. So take a moment, pause the video, and really look up what melanin does for the body and how it helps us be a part of the planet. Now that you're back, tell me, we can't be out in the sun. We can't have the same relationship to the planet as those who have melanin. It's our inferiority, not supremacy, not superiority. It is our one inferiority. And then, of course, as any bully would do, when you feel inferior, you would make yourself appear superior by bullying someone to make them feel less than you, instead of finding out how you can be the best version of yourself so that you can be your own version of greatness. And that's all we have to do. There are all these systems for distribution of resources that are built based on our greed. our desire to get resources that other people have access to and we didn't. It's that simple. They're already built, and all we have to do is remove the desire for greed and control over those resources and become a sharing, humane people. The example exists in melanated folks. They don't treat us the way we treat them. They treat us better than we treat ourselves. So let's learn. Let's enjoy the planet. Let's stop all this foolishness. And let's support those with melanated skin so that we may learn how to be humane in our own way. Race for what?
Racism is about jealousy. If you think that's a reductive statement, please stick with me. When I say jealousy, I'm talking about insecurity, which is really what jealousy is, but I think it's easier to understand if I say insecurity rather than just jealousy. Because we know from appropriation that we are very jealous of other cultures. Why would we want to listen to the music, eat the food, wear the clothes, do the hairstyles, have everything, the language, but not give credit where credit is due and not uplift the people who created it? White people are so lost in feeling like they don't have a connection to culture, especially many of us who are very far removed from our European roots. And I think the need to fill that space and that insecurity of this lack of culture and lack of something to call our own is often filled with cultural appropriation and the idea that being white is superior. I was first introduced to this concept of racism being jealousy in college, and I can't trace it back to one particular scholar, but I would like to give credit where credit is due to that Black scholar. If you can find anything tracing it to one particular person, please leave that in the comments. I think it's important to think about racism in this way if we want to unlearn it. Because, as some people say who are non-monogamous, or anyone who's just working on their relationships, jealousy is an indicator that something is not quite right with us. It's an indicator of our insecurity and how we might be feeling. It's not about what our partner is doing or what someone on Instagram is doing with their life that makes us feel inadequate. It's about something going on inside. And I think we really need to interrogate that. What is it about people of color showing excellence, people of color maybe being more in touch with culture, people of color being more in touch with the environment, people of color making better food, and everything else that we envy? What does that trigger in us? And why do we have the need to put those people down? It's about jealousy. And if we can figure out that we're feeling that way and trace that feeling back to maybe some of our unconscious biases, I think it's a lot easier to start thinking about how can we unlearn that? How can I feel secure in my identity as a white person who has roots in maybe Italian and like other cultures, but like doesn't really feel connected to anything? How can I feel secure in myself to not want to put others down, whether that be racism or any other form of discrimination, or just plain hating on another woman because she's amazing? You know, I think this makes it seem like racism is very simple, but it also just helps us frame it in a way that's accessible to us. We know that dismantling racism starts with individual work, and personal growth is all about thinking about the hard things about yourself and the things and parts of yourself that you don't like. And jealousy is one of those things. No one wants to be jealous. It's an awful, awful feeling. And we don't want to admit that we're jealous. And we shy away from that, but it's something we can interrogate, and I think that is going to help us go a long way. Anyway, just my thoughts.
So I was raised that Black people were God's favorite and they were the superior race. And it was interesting to be raised with that mentality because I think it's different than a lot of how other like white people were raised. And I do believe that if more people were raised this way, the world would be a little bit better of a place, and maybe we can get along a little bit nicer together. Obviously there's pros and cons to everything, so I would love to discuss the pros and cons of what it was like to be raised with this mentality, as well as like what you think about it and what you think we should do going forward, to raise the next generation of children who are carrying the future for us. So how this mentality came about, I was really quizzical and curious as a child and very outspoken. It's interesting to look back now that we're in this ginger talk right now. I'm kind of reliving a few of the silly little traumas that we face as gingers. And I noticed that I was more outspoken between the ages of 0 and 8. And once I started getting really made fun of as a ginger, I kind of lost my voice and I wasn't as brave or outspoken, and I was shy and timid. So it's kind of interesting to have that realization now, so many years later. Anyway, back to the important topic here. The way that this mentality was brought on to me was, as I said, I was very outspoken and, I was quizzical and curious as a child. So before the age of 6, I asked my mom, why do we call them Black people when they're more different shades of brown? And I asked her, why do people treat them differently or call them names? Like, what does this mean? Why is this happening? And how do you explain race and racism to a child that is under the age of 6 in a way that they can understand? Because obviously they're not going to be able to comprehend or grasp the entirety of the depth of what racism really truly is. So how do you explain that to a child? She knew that I loved my brownies and my cookies baked a little bit longer than you're supposed to, because the crispy edge of the brownie was always my favorite. And I loved when the chocolate chip cookie was a little bit crispy on the outside and a little gooey on the inside. And that was the perfect way to bake the cookies and bake the brownies. So she used that analogy. And yes, it sounds crazy, but as a 4-year-old child, it made perfect sense. And she used that analogy and she said, you know how you like your cookies and your brownies baked a little bit extra? That's kind of what God did with Black people. He took more time and more love into creating Black people. And that's why they're a little bit darker than you. He just baked them a little bit longer. That's how she described race to me. And she said that anybody who talks badly about them or is mean to them is just jealous. So right away, I was kind of just like completely infatuated and just in awe of Black people, because I'm like, oh my gosh, what is it like to be God's favorite? What is it like to, just be loved a little bit more from God? Like, I just thought it was incredible and amazing. And so I always just gravitated towards Black people because I was like, oh my God, like they're so lucky. Do they know how lucky they are? Like, how cool is it that God spent a little bit more time on them? I was fascinated by it.
Alright, guys, welcome back. The fact that some of the palm colored people right now are coming out and admitting the fact that it's always been jealousy that has made them to be so racist towards the people of color is even amazing, because some of them cannot admit that. Some of them were taught to be racist when they were still children. They learned it when they were kids. Sometimes when I look at a kid, I always tell myself that, oh my God, so when this kid grows up, he will be taught how to be racist towards other people, but not all of them will be like that. Then I love the analogy that the lady used about the cookies, that if you bake your cookies for a long time, then they will come out to be so yummy. And that's what God used when he was creating the Black people. He created them for a long period of time, and that's why we have melanin. Then another white man also came out and said that, we are not white because we don't have melanin, because God didn't finish creating us. The fact that these people are now coming out and saying this and admitting this publicly, who saw that coming? Because some of them will actually refuse, and they will always feel that they are so superior as compared to other people. And if this white supremacy can end, if this racism can end, because of late racism has become a trend. Like they're just doing it, especially in the United States. They're just racially profiling other communities without caring, because they know very well that the current administration will do nothing. The current administration will always be on their side. And I've watched several videos of the palm colored people coming out and calling out their very own community for all the negative things they have been doing to the people of color, because they are so tired of fascism. They are so tired of misogyny. They are so tired of seeing the black people being mistreated in the society. They are so tired of seeing black people being brutalized by the police. And the palm colored people, their community is, the percentage is so low. And yet, some of them are giving people headache each and every time. If they can stop with this their behavior, if they can stop, if some of them can stop considering themselves to be so supreme as compared to other people, then the world can be a better place. Because people are so tired of feeling less fortunate in the society. You can go to a place only for you to get racially profiled. You saw whatever happened to that trucker. There is also another instance I saw of an Indian man in the United States questioning a black American brother, the reason as to why he was walking in that neighborhood. It was just the other day. It's a recent video. Then I was like, what? This Indian man is from India, even if he's residing in the United States, and yet this black American brother is American. He was born in America, is the indigenous man in America, and somebody from nowhere is coming to question you in your own country. The reason as to why you are working in that neighborhood, and yet that man is also from that neighborhood, to a point that the Indian man wanted to call police on him. So they want just to align to whiteness so bad. Maybe it's their skin color which is betraying them or lying to them that, if you are this color, then perhaps you will be favored in the white community. And I think majority of the palm colored people are waking up right now, because they are even so tired of themselves. They are so tired of the lies that have been going on in the United States, and they are calling out the system for what it is and for what it has always been. They are calling out all the lies that they have been using to lie to other people, and how privileged they have always been. I've uploaded several episodes discussing the white privilege, and some people are even so tired of the white fatigue. Then it also came to a point that some of the palm colored people came out and said that, we are so tired of the black fatigue. So it was kind of wild, because when black people started saying that they are so tired of white fatigue, then the white people also came out to say that they are tired of white fatigue. Some of them also decided to come out and say that black fatigue is disgusting. So guys, I love these people for coming out to admit exactly whatever they have been feeling, how they have been mistreating other people, and how they were taught when they were still young on what to do. So it's upon the teachers to teach the kids at school to avoid all this racist behavior, to avoid feeling so supreme in the society. It's upon the parents to start teaching their kids good manners, to start teaching their kids not to be racist or not to be supreme in the society, for them to curb all this. If actually they want to prevent or avoid racism in the United States, the action should start in their very own community, because there is no one coming out from other community to tell them to stop that. It's upon them to start it right now. And the voices of the palm colored people lately, I don't know why majority of them are now speaking about this. I hope it's not a trap. I hope it's a real action that they are taking right now to rectify their community, to call out their community so that they can stop with all these behaviors. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section about this. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate your support. Kindly give it a thumbs up and also subscribe if you haven't. I'm your presenter Judy. Until next time, see you on my next episode.